Hello, my name is Sabine Minninger. I'm working for the German Church Development Service for the Special Desk of Tourism. It's called Tourism Watch. And I wonder if climate change is already incorporated in the corporate social responsibility strategies of tour operators, which role play mechanisms of social security. Just let me give you one example. As I was working the last 1.5 years in Asia to develop a community-based disaster preparedness program to disaster-prone and tourism-prone destinations. The experience that we made was, after the tsunami happened, that many women, in Phuket especially, who were working in the tourism industry lost their working place, and they were endangered or forced to earn their livelihoods in prostitution. As we know now that climate change is already going on and that natural events will occur in a higher density, we know that especially in developing countries, probably it might happen that still hotels get destroyed, whatever, people are losing their working places. Are tour operators already discussing this to put in place mechanisms of social security? Are you taking any responsibilities for people who are employed in those countries?
My response to this, if you're looking at Southeast Asia in particular as the example that you gave, I think it's, if you look at our role is really in various ways trying to market what exists in the different destinations. And I mentioned the fact that we're experts at using other people's assets. And those assets are, of course, the airlines and the hotels in particular. And so we have our partners who are hoteliers in those areas that make most of the employment of the people who are acting locally. We have been involved in various ways, but I expect Peter de Jong will maybe be able to answer this better in the next session, in processes of trying to reduce the exploitation of people in the sex industry, and to try and get them to be employed in more rational and sensible alternatives. And this has been, I would argue, reasonably successful. I always want to be more successful than we have been. But it's in the hotels, partly due to pressures brought to bear by tour operators, but it's actually in the end the hotels who employ people locally. And what we've encouraged them to do is to go out and try and encourage people to realize that there are really good alternatives available to them. Now, in the event of the tsunami, of course, a lot of people died tragically, for example, in Thailand. And then there was the question of the recovery process. And we've been involved very actively in trying to make that recovery process as rapid as possible afterwards, so that employment can then continue in the right ways. And I have to say, in talking to some of our tour operators last week, I find that Thailand has actually recovered very well indeed, and it would be interesting to see whether Peter de Jong has got further figures on those which will confirm what I am saying. So I think that you have to see it as slightly one removed, because of course there are hoteliers who are running their own affairs. And we have tried to say, well, you mentioned the TOI have been involved in various kind of contractual arrangements trying to encourage hoteliers to behave in certain ways.